Welcome to Intrinsi's self-help series, where each one of our osteopaths is going to share some tips and tricks for you to improve your health and well-being at home.
Okay, so what we're going to do is some stretching and range of motion exercises for our shoulder. In this case, we're going to be using our right shoulder. Now the first thing to do is find yourself a good door frame. Door frames are very sturdy, they don't move, and they give you a couple of things to actually hold on to. So they're very helpful in this sort of case. Now to stretch the underside of our arm, underside of our shoulder and down into the chest, what we're going to do is we're going to be facing the door frame itself. Now your right hand is going to go slightly higher than shoulder height within that door frame. Your right foot is going to be pointing towards the door frame as well. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop our hips backwards. Now as we do that, we'll actually automatically drop our chest towards the ground. Now with this, you'll start to feel a stretch that occurs underneath the arm. Now this stretch can sometimes occur over the top of the shoulder as well. Both of these stretches are fine as long as it isn't hurting. If it is hurting too much, please stop, reassess and reposition that shoulder. Otherwise, you may need to stop and talk to your osteopath about trying to change that stretch altogether. But if it's not hurting, what we're going to do is we're going to drop down into that. So as I was saying, pushing those hips backwards, dropping that chest towards the ground. You're holding it for about 3 to 4 seconds and then coming back up. Now you can do this about 5 or 6 times per session. Now within this, I want you doing this approximately once to twice per day, preferably in the morning and then once during the middle of the day. Okay, so we stretch the underside of the shoulder. Now what we need to do is stretch across the front of the shoulder. Now when we stretch across the front of the shoulder, we're talking about the pec muscle. Now the trouble with the pec muscle is that it is such a large and broad muscle that we actually need to change our handhold position in order to stretch all of it. So first off, let's start. We're going to be holding onto the door frame and we're going to be having the arm about 90 degrees to the shoulder. What we're going to do then is open up through the left leg and open up through the left arm. Now when we do this, you're holding it for about 5 to 6 seconds, and same deal, you'll be feeling a stretch across the front of the shoulder here. Now as you do this, you're going to be doing the repetitions about 5 to 6 times. So holding it for 5 or 6 seconds, and then doing it about 5 or 6 times. Now as I was saying, we're going to have to change the handhold position. So we just did it at 90 degrees, now what we need to do is actually have the handhold lower than the shoulder. Once you open up, you actually open up with your left arm higher, and that will change the stretch of the pec muscle. Same deal, 5 to 6 times, holding it for about 5 or 6 seconds. The third one is where the hand is once again going higher than the shoulder, and we're opening up again. And all of these you'll feel in different parts of that pec muscle. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to stretch through the top and through the anterior component of the shoulder. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to place our palm behind us, holding onto that door frame. Now I'm going to do it on this right hand side again. So, palm goes on the inside of the door frame with your back towards the door, and you're actually going to gently step forward with that left foot. Now as you step forward, you'll be feeling a stretch through here. If you find that you aren't feeling that stretch, what you can do is you can actually raise that right hand slightly further up that door frame before stepping forward again. Once again, hold it for about 3 to 4 seconds. Do this about 5 to 6 times. Now what we're going to do is stretch the back of our shoulder and stretch our back. What I want you to do is I want you to pretend like you're trying to hold a beach ball in front of you. Now as you do this, you're obviously going to be trying to push your shoulders forward. You're going to slightly interlock your fingers at the front. Now what I want you to do is actually drop those hands and follow it with your shoulders. What you'll feel as you do this is a stretch that occurs through the back in differing parts. By moving those hands up and down, it allows the different components of the trapezius muscle, rhomboids, and your posterior shoulder muscles all to stretch. Do that about 3 to 4 times and do it at least twice a day. Once in the morning, once at night.